So when we head down to verse number 23, it says, "If you turn at my rebuke, behold, I will pour out my spirit to you. I will make my words known to you." Now, I got a question for you. It goes back to something that you had actually mentioned earlier with regards to not necessarily wanting to give people unsolicited advice. And I'm definitely the same way. I try to be very, very cautious about who I give advice and insights and the like to. But I got a question for you. And that is, do you ever feel comfortable rebuking or reproving somebody?
Mm. Um, Personally, I'd say no. I'm
Okay.
not really, I don't really put myself like that. Meaning I always have to look at myself a lot
Hmm.
of the times when I'm talking to people. And like we were talking about on the last episode with just giving people the grace that you want.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not the type where I want somebody to just go ahead and be like, and you know what, let me go ahead and get you together. This is what, no, I don't want that. So
All
I'm
right.
not going to do that to people.
Hmm.
And even if it's a better approach than I just did, still with that, I don't necessarily want to do that unless, like we said, unsolicited or solicited advice. Unless somebody really asks, like, "Hey, how do you think I could do better with this?" Or "What do you think?"
Right.
That's who I am. I'm not necessarily like, "You know what I think about you. Here's what we can do." Like, I've just never
It's
been
like,
that
do
type.
you have time? Because I mean, I've been keeping a list.
Exactly. That's just not me. But I mean, I know plenty of people who are like that, and I'm like,
Right.
"Whoa, yeah." But yeah, everybody's different. But yeah, that's just not me.
Yeah. Now, follow-up question to that. Why do
Yeah.
you feel that there isn't that comfort level to reprove or rebuke somebody?
Um. Now, I would say as I get older, I can
Hmm.
do it, but it has to be absolutely necessary if I can
Mm.
think of it. I'm not
Okay.
just going to do it out of nowhere, but it has to be absolutely necessary and something that pertains to me or someone else, or I can
Hmm.
see somebody, whoa, you going a little too far to the left. Like, let's bring it back over here. Like, it has to be absolutely necessary for me, but that's come over time
Yeah.
because, like I said, I'm not very that judgmental. And I always thought,
Hmm.
like, who am I to judge somebody? Where sometimes it's like, no, you have to be able to do that,
Yeah.
especially if you have the knowledge and you know, like, whoa, there's a truck coming, so you don't get hit. How about you come back this way? Like in times like that, I know I need to be able to say, hey, you need to listen to me over here because it's very important. But little things, I let people figure that out for themselves. But when it comes to something that's absolutely necessary,
Yeah.
definitely. But
I
that's become
love.
as I've gotten older, though. It hasn't been like, oh my God, when I was 18, I was killing it. I was knocking it out. Like, nah.
Oh man, that's funny. So when you look back on your experiences, was there ever a time that you had the opportunity to reprove or hold on, let me stop for a second. Cause there may be somebody out here that they like, we talk about reprove, we talk about rebuke, but they may not even know what that means. So hold on, I'm moving too fast. Let me take a step back. First and foremost, let's go back to Miriam for a second, right? I just want to make sure we all on the same page. I often forget that sometimes we're not. So, would you mind reading the definitions for reprove?
Uh-huh. To scold or correct, usually gently or with kindly intent.
Right, right. And then we see number two being to express disapproval of.
Mhm.
So, it's vitally important for people to be aware of that. And let me go ahead and also pull up rebuke too, so people can see that one as well. All right.
Mhm.
So, can you read the definition for rebuke?
To criticize sharply, reprimand, to serve as a rebuke to turn back or keep down.
Hey, I see two, and all I can think, check them, boo. You
Exactly.
got
Right.
you got to check them. So for people out there that they don't know what rebuke and reprove mean, when you check somebody, when you put somebody in check, that's essentially what we talking about. Check them.
That part.
Perfect. All right, cool. So now that we have that out the way, we got a clear understanding. I want to know, was there ever a time in your life where you had the opportunity to either reprove or rebuke somebody and you didn't do it, but looking back, you were like, yo, I probably should have did that.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to say, it's actually the people closest to me
Mm,
because a lot of times you don't want to hurt people's feelings or say
right.
anything out of the way, or you feel like, oh, they'll get it, and it's like, months or days or whatever later, you're like, you know what, I should have said something because this ain't clicking, or, it's actually not helpful for me. So, like I said, as I've gotten older, it's been a little bit easier to be like, you know what? By the way, this is with kind and gentle intention because I'm not the rebuke person,
Mm,
but I'll definitely do the reproving. Like I'm
right.
good with that, but the whole rebuking part, because even with that, reading the definition, I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not that sharp. Like that's not me. But
Yeah.
I can do that type of thing. But yeah, not necessarily in a harsh way.
Right. And that's the one reason why I'm glad we had the opportunity to look at the definitions of both of those
Right.
words, because we can see that one has a little bit more intensity to it. And I'll be honest, I tend to rock with the one that falls on the side of doing it out of that kindly intent, like you said, being a reprover as opposed to a rebuker. I mean, I feel like if you rebuking somebody and you got to come at them hard, it makes me think of like, watching those judge shows that I used to watch. They probably still come on. I don't know. I'm assuming they do. I haven't watched Judge Mathis, Judge Joe Brown, Lynn Tolan, the likes. I haven't seen them in so long. But one of the
Either.
things that come to my mind is when they would always be like, this is that tough love, right? And then,
Mhm.
they would like, in some cases, like read somebody, give them their whole life and, put them all the way in check. And it's just like, oh man, like dang, Judge came down hard on them. And in that instance, I could see why rebuke may have been necessary in that instance because hey, they're trying to keep this person out of the penitentiary or out of a place where, they could potentially hurt themselves or other people.
Right. Exactly.